Hi, my name is Pablo Muñoz Gómez. I'm a 3D concept and character artist based in Melbourne, Australia. I love creating mysterious creatures and whimsical characters in a variety of styles, and I usually explore topics of sci-fi and fantasy, which are themes that give me a lot of room to explore all sorts of designs, from weird and creepy with a more serious tone to more playful and quirky characters. I use a bunch of different tools to create my work, but for me it's all about the story, so whether I work on a stylized character, an atmospheric scene, or an illustration for a graphic novel, my aim is always to create something that communicates the idea and evokes an emotion. Inspiration for me strikes at any time, so a big part of my process is to make notes and sketch little thumbnails to remember the ideas. Anything can be a catalyst for a brand new project, so I try not to dismiss anything that pops into my head, document as much as possible, and then filter the ideas later. When I start working on something new, I usually have a rough 2D sketch that I do in Photoshop and lots of different references. My design workflow is very organic and I like to refine the idea as I develop it. So the original sketch is just to give me a sense of direction or something to aim for, but it's not a restriction. I usually change things a lot along the way. For a project like this, I use something like ZBrush to model and sculpt the base of the 3D object and then export it to Adobe 3D Stager. And this is where I can have a lot of fun with materials and lighting. The first thing is usually to set the basics for my 3D scene, including the camera frame, the resolution of the image, and a basic light. Then I can search for specific materials in the library and then drag and drop them to the relevant pieces of the model. This tool is really intuitive, so I can spend more time playing with options for the look and feel of the image than, figuring out some technical aspects of the render. I love creating contrast between textures, shapes, surfaces, or just color, so I use different properties of the materials to that effect. For instance, a polished, soft plastic next to a rough, bumpy metal. And if you're new to the world of 3D, sometimes the terminology can be a bit overwhelming, but the cool thing with 3D Stager is that you can turn on ray tracing and what you see in the viewport is what you get in the render. So you can just pick a material and play with the sliders, so you can change things like how matte or reflective a surface is, or if it is transparent or opaque. And the same thing goes for the lighting. You can drag and drop a new environment and see how lights and reflections affect the final image. Once I'm happy with how things look in the viewport, I can hit the render button to get the final quality. Once the render is finished, I can open it up in Photoshop and do some final tweaks like adding a bit of texture, color correction, or simply changing the background color.